Good afternoon, CCAFO. For those who are listening in, I thank you guys for tuning in today. Before I get started, I just wanted to say that I hope everybody is safe and doing well during this pandemic and these strange times that we're going through. We're definitely in some unprecedented times as a country, and even now with the protesting of the death of George Floyd, times have even more harder. So to all the healthcare workers who are, on the front line, all the EMS staff, healthcare, medical, hospital, fire, and police, I want to thank you for the job that you guys are doing. Thank you for your services. I had a chance to speak to Christian Rodriguez today. Being a cop is always tough. Being a cop now is even more harder. So Christian, my thoughts and prayers are definitely with you. Continue to stay safe out there. Let's not also forget the food care, those who are in the food industry that are pretty much taking care of us, keeping the shelves stocked with food, restaurants that are open. I know we're struggling to get back to some normalcy, but at least having the ability to get takeout dining is better than nothing. So again, you guys are definitely heroes on the front line and keeping us safe. So just thank you again for all that. I hope everybody is well. I definitely can express that feeling. For those who didn't know, one of our officials, at least the only one to my knowledge, Patrick Greeton, was diagnosed with the COVID. Talked to him about a month ago, kind of exchanged some text messages last week. He is doing better, still trying to recover, getting to be 100%, but he should definitely be back on his feet pretty soon. So enough of that. I just want to talk about the season and where we start and kind of update everybody on a few things. So first thing, basically with the situation going on with the pandemic, we don't know what the future holds for school, for sports, or anything of that nature. So I just want to kind of update you on a few things. So as we start to move through the summer, there's more indication and likeliness that there will be school in the fall. School meaning in session, in classroom school, not this online learning that we're going through right now. So we are probably going to be headed to some sort of football season, some sort of sports. The CIAC will not be ruling on anything until a decision is made by the governor, the Board of Education, as to what's going to happen with school. But unless there's in-person school, there probably will not be, there won't be fall sports. So as we get back to school, then we can start talking about a plan to find out how sports is going to be taken care of when we get to the fall. With that said, today being June 1st, we, the CCAFO, needs to operate as if there's going to be a season. Once we get to September, which the season starts on September 12th, we need to be up and running and ready to go, full tilt. So we'll be following the normal protocols that we always do around this time of the year. After I get off this call, I'll be sending out the availability letter. The availability letter, basically, just to sum up some of the things that I'm talking about today. You can find that availability letter in Forms and Arbiter, and I believe Dana hopefully can post that on the CCAFO website, which I'll talk about in a moment. The availability letter just basically states when I'm talking about September 10th, the season is supposed to begin, which is a Thursday, but we need to get your availability. Your availability should be just like the old days. It's due by June 30th. You can go into Arbiter. You can update your availability with your blocks and things of that nature. A couple of the things that we will talk about now with the availability is that there are members of our board who work on other boards, namely our college guys. Last year, you guys were very instrumental in getting your availability blocks in early. But with the COVID, with this pandemic going on, who knows what the state of college football is going to be like, let alone high school football. My advice to you is do the best that you can with your blocks. It's better to block out more dates, and then we can go ahead and reverse those at a different time. But you want to make sure that your blocks are set. Along with the blocks, last year I sent an acknowledgement form. Basically, the acknowledgement form served as two things. One, it was your agreement to return to the CCFO for the 2019 season. And I also updated those fields in Arbiter that are usually blank. The years of service on the board, your primary position, your secondary position, are you able to work back-to-back years, any schools that you don't want to attend, and things of that nature. Instead of me filling out 165 forms, I am now going to put that onus on the individual officials. So along with the availability letter, there's going to be the acknowledgement form. That acknowledgement form now is going to be encompassed within your arbiter profile. Your arbiter profile really is going to be your guide, your Bible to how the e-board can communicate back to you. It's going to let you know your status as far as, are you a member in good standing? If not, if you're not a member in good standing, why? Is it because you didn't pass a test, interpretation meeting, whatever it might be, a financial obligation? The fields and arbiter will reflect that information. So if you go into your profile and you click on the left-hand side where it says custom fields, you can find all that information in the drop downs there. I ask that each official who is going to be returning to the CCAFO for the upcoming season, that they go into Arbiter and they update their user profile. That includes having a picture attached to your profile. Last year when we were assigning games, we found that there were quite a few officials who were eligible for varsity assignments. They did not have a picture on their profile, and therefore we weren't able to really assign them games because we didn't know these officials by name only. So therefore they probably lost out on a game or two. So it will behoove you to go in and update your arbiter profile with a picture as well as those custom fields. And that information also, as far as a picture is concerned, is also to veteran officials. Right now we have a lot of first, second, third year members who are handling change crews, whether that's a college assignment or a prep school assignment. These officials show up. They're not really aware who the officials are that they should be working with or where they need to attend or go to. So at the meeting, the weekly meeting, the previous week of that game, they're looking to find out who that official is. And because you don't have any pictures, they don't know who to reach out to in that nature. So I'm hoping that everybody will go ahead and adhere to that and go ahead and attach a picture to your profile. That picture should be of you only, not your kid, not your dog, not a group of college buddies from 6 or 7 years ago, but it should just be a headshot, very simple, attached to your profile. Let me take a peek here. One of the other things too that I made new within Arbiter is I turned on the ability to go ahead and block out. Obviously, you can block out your dates, but now I've added a couple of new features this year where in the availability section, you have the ability to block out teams. Too many times that officials have conflicts where they're either working at a school, their child attends a school, their daughter's part of the marching band, or you have some sort of conflict in the town where you can't work. Instead of notifying me, you can actually go into Arbiter and you can place a block on a particular school. So each official has the ability to block out up to at least 3 schools. And that way you won't be tagged for games for those schools. In addition to the blocking out the schools, you have the ability to block out a partner. In years past, this has always been the case, but it was just more of a verbal thing. You would let your assigner know who you had a conflict with, and that assigner would do their best to keep those officials apart. Last season, we had a couple of conflicts where a couple of officials couldn't get along. We couldn't resolve their conflict off the field, and therefore it just got to the point where it's best that these two officials no longer work together. Well, now you have the ability to go ahead and place a block to block out a particular partner. Again, that information is anonymous, and nobody will be able to see that information but your assigner. Right now, we do have some situations where officials just have a conflict, don't want to work together, and that's normal. I mean, we are a brotherhood, but unfortunately, there are conflicts, and we all just can't get along at times. And you do have that ability to go ahead and block out a partner, as well as a team or a school that you might have conflict with. Back to the Arbiter profile, I want to talk about the primary and secondary positions. Last year, I asked officials to go ahead and list down your primary position and your secondary position. I wanted to go ahead and make that clear this time. When you're selecting your primary position, that primary position is not the position that you desire, that you want to be. There were quite a few officials who selected that referee was their primary position. So therefore, they tried to say that as a referee, that was their primary, and then, back judge was their secondary. If you go into arbiter, when you click that drop down and you look at the primary positions, you will see referee is listed in there. But there is a caveat to that. It says referee full-time only, I believe. We only have maybe 6 or 8 full-time referees. That title was a distinction that happened from previous assigners. I know it happened with Larry, Andy, and as well as Rob Thibault. Tagged a couple of full-time referees. These individuals were guys who only worked as a referee. Off the top of my head, we have John Bayback, TJ Calabrese, Andy Sanzaro, Dana Turnquest, to just name a couple. Those guys are full-time referees. They don't work at any other position. If you are a referee, you can put that as your secondary position. So, for example, myself would be back judge as a primary position, and then my secondary would be referee. So that is how that should work. Full-time referee is only determined by the assigner at this time. We really don't have any additional protocol that makes a person a full-time referee. I did get asked a question, how come we can't have more full-time referees? We will get there eventually, maybe by attrition when guys retire, maybe injuries or force people out of that position. But we need to look at that as well, because we can't continue to make full-time referees. If there's on average between 14 to 16 games on a Friday night, and we have 14 full-time referees, guys who are inspiring to become a referee or to get more work at that position, there just will not be any availability around if we have full-time referees, at that position. So hopefully everybody can understand that moving forward. We'll get a chance to go ahead and make some changes there. What else? Terms of acceptance. Again, last year you guys signed the form. Some of you guys e-signed. All you have to do now this year is go ahead and click on the drop down and to accept the terms. So if you're planning on returning to the CCAFO for the 2020 season, just click on the terms of acceptance. It says that I agree. And basically it's just a little caveat there to the right that says you're going to adhere to the bylaws and guidelines that we've established with the CCAFO and adhere to the Federation Handbook. And if you accept, you can click on those terms and say I accept. And if you're not returning to the CCAFO, you can just click no, I'm not returning. We do have some officials who maybe in the last couple of weeks have changed their mind due to injury. I know there's a couple of guys that had some off-season surgery. Not really sure how they're quite healing, if they're going to be ready and up and ready to go when the season starts. But and with the COVID and with the unexpectancy going along with the season and the unknown, maybe some guys just aren't in the position where they want to return at this time. So everybody would have that option to go ahead and return or not. I just ask that you go ahead and accept the terms, that you're going to use that as your signature to go ahead and return to the board. What's going to happen is on July 1st, I will do a download of the system. I will download all that information, and I will just make sure that all availability blocks are set. All the terms have been agreed to. And anybody who's accepted at that point will be eligible for varsity assignments as long as their profile is up to date and they are members in good standings. At that point, it would only be a financial obligation. Normally, in July, we'll go ahead and release the exam. That exam is usually released on July 1st to July 31st. In the past, we've used a separate database, a separate website to go ahead and administer the test, but I am going to look into see if Arbiter, we can go ahead and release that testing site facility in Arbiter. That'll create a new tab, and what we can do then is we can upload the test in Arbiter and just use that for all of our board needs. So once that information is available, I will definitely let you guys know. Speaking of Arbiter, as some of you guys may or may not be aware from my message that I did last month, and as well as other boards, there is sort of an ongoing situation with the CIAC. The CIAC, our normal fee for the CIAC, for the membership, is $13. That includes our membership to the CIAC, as well, actually it's $17, as well as our insurance. CIAC wants to raise the rates per official. I believe it's going to be $49 for a football official And then for any additional sport that you do, for example, if you're a football official and a basketball official, it would be $49 plus an additional $10 per sport registration fee. So the CIAC is looking to recoup some of the money that they've lost due to the COVID. As you're aware, there were no winter sports. There was no winter basketball tournament, and therefore they lost a lot of games. If you can remember, for the football tournament, the weather, there was a lot of inclement weather, which caused the turnout to be very low. The CIAC has suffered a deficit because of such turnout, and they are looking to try to recoup some of the money that they lost. Therefore, they are charging all officials an individual rate. What they're looking to do is have each individual official register in Arbiter to receive a login and a password. Their goal really is to kind of hijack us and to force us to pay their fee in order to use Arbiter. So, for example, I'll just use myself. I would have to register, pay the $49 fee to get my username and password in order to get assignments through the CCAFO. That's really not going to happen. Just to let you know that the football boards are united, along with a couple of other sporting boards throughout the state. We have compiled a letter, and we are going to send that to the CIAC. I believe that letter is being sent today or tomorrow, just basically to let them know that we are not in agreement with the increase, and we need to work out something additional. As you might know, the CIAC really does nothing for us. We don't work for them. We work for the schools. So we just need to stay tuned to see where this fight is headed. I will definitely keep you up to date. But that in line brings up the reason where I said we'll have to wait and see where we put the summer exam, because maybe Arbiter may be shut down at that time. Arbiter might be shut down. We may not have access to the system like we sought, which is why I'm having Dana post some of the forms needed on our CCAFO website, and as well as Arbiter. Moving on to another subject, football. I apologize, I'm just looking at my notes here. Forms on the website, primary, secondary positions. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about, blocks, partners, back-to-back, terms of acceptance moving forward. I apologize here. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date about the Arbiter request, the Arbiter situation with the CIAC, just to let you guys know where that's headed. Right now, the only concern that we have moving forward is the terms of acceptance, making sure that your profile is up to date, getting your blocks in your calendar, whether it's a holiday, anniversary, or whatever it might be. You want to make sure that your profiles and everything is up to date by June 30th. Like I said, at that point, I'm going to be doing a download of the system just to kind of put that information aside until we start working on the schedule. Speaking of schedules, the schools are uploading their schedules into Arbiter. I can see all the varsity schedules there. Some sub-varsity schedules are there. So, unaware of what the situation holds with the pandemic, we must move forward and proceed that we are going to have a season. If we have to dial it back or cancel out some things, we'll be prepared. But just to let you guys know that those forms are available on Arbiter. If you just click on the Forms tab, search 2020, you'll find the acknowledgement form. That'll give you some instructions on the fields that need to be completed. You can find the availability letter that's there. And you'll also find the 2020 rule changes that are uploaded. So if you need to know what new rule changes are out, you can find those also on the website. As I mentioned, I'm not really sure what's going on with the CIAC as far as rule books, as far as online books. But once we get that information available, I will then get the test online, get you guys access to the books, and you can go ahead and start taking the test. With anything, we're just uncertain what's going on, but we're going to continue to act as normal. And if we have to make adjustments, for example, to be a member in good standing, you have to do 2 scrimmages, you have to attend the interpretation meeting, and you have to be in good financial standing. Well, not really sure what the scrimmage season is going to look like at this point. Not really sure if the interpretation meeting is going to be in person or via WebEx. So whatever we do, we will definitely make the adjustments, and we'll just kind of go with it on the fly. And as I get information, I will definitely disseminate that back to you, or President Peak will get back to you as quickly as we can once we get the information. So with that said, again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Like I said, please go into Arbiter and update your profiles. I know everybody thinks that their profile is set, which they probably are, but you still just need to agree to the terms of acceptance and agree to that. And once you do, you'll be all set for the upcoming season, and I'll keep you up to date on everything. I did get a question about shirts. Let me just follow up with that. Again, you can order your shirt. Well, let me back up a little bit. As you know, we had a contract with All Sports, to go ahead and take care of our shirts, our 2 1/4 inch shirts for the 2020 season. Frank has sold the business, and All Sports is no longer around. Therefore, our contract with them is sort of been terminated, I guess. We also had an agreement with Attire. We had a website set up, and you could order merchandise through Attire. The problem with All Sports is All Sports was a better deal than Attire, which is why we had decided to go with All Sports. Since All Sports is no longer around, Dana and I made numerous calls to different vendors. We even reached out to the vendor that handles the sporting apparel for UConn athletics. Dana and I could not find a better deal than All Sports, and we certainly couldn't find a better deal than Attire. They were all equivalent to what we have now. Therefore, what happens is Attire, if you go to the website, umpattire.com, click on football, you will see the CCAFO page. You can order a long sleeve, short sleeve, wind shirt, all that information is there. The Attire shirts, they come with the CCAFO logo on the sleeve. The only thing that the Attire shirt does not contain is the USA flag. If you are looking to have a flag on your shirt, you cannot get that off the website. You'll have to get a separate flag, which the e-board will have, and you can iron that flag onto your shirt through Attire. I am currently in the process of discussing with Attire to go with 2 options. Option one is the standard shirt with logo, no flag. Option 2 is the standard shirt with logo with a flag. So it's not available at this point in time, but in the next, I'd say 7 to 10 days, there'll be a second option through Attire that you can order a shirt with a flag. So when you still are looking to get a 2 1/4 inch shirt, you're going to have to get that through Attire. Lastly, I want to say is about the shirts. Because of the pandemic, people are out of work, really not really sure what's going on. The e-board, I believe it was last month, we came to the decision that the 2 1/4 inch shirts would be placed on hold. So they are not mandatory for the 2020 season. Just like the black pants were instituted a few years back, that if you had the black pants or knickers, you can go with either or, and they would go ahead and get you set up. So the same thing holds true with the 2 1/4 inch shirts. They are not mandatory. So if you want to go ahead and as crews come out, in the fall, I'll just use TJ for example. Let's say TJ has a game on Friday night, Farmington against Bristol Central, and he sent out his normal email. Guys, pregame is going to start at 5:30. Bring long sleeves or bring short sleeves. You need to also throw in that email. Does everyone in the crew have 2 1/4 inch stripes? If you do, go ahead and wear them. And if you don't, then you're just going to have to go with the 1 inch stripes until everybody does have them. So it is not mandatory that you have the 2 1/4 inch stripes. But if you have them, you are definitely more than welcome to wear them in a game. But again, they are not mandatory. So, you don't have to go out and rush out to buy them. We'll just go ahead and keep that in the back of the minds. So as we proceed through the rest of the summer, when we get into July and we start hearing more from the governor as far as the restrictions starting to loosen up on social distancing, maybe we'll see some passing camps, summer league, things like that, and kind of go from there. I know right now we are in a situation where you can have up to 10 people inside and you can have up to 25 people outside for a social gathering. So, each week, each month, we're getting better and better back to some more normalcy. And we'll get there. It'll just be a slow process, but We just need to kind of go from there. So if anybody has any questions, guys, you guys can shoot me some emails, anything that's related to Arbiter, your schedule, the upcoming season, anything that I can answer, I certainly will do that. If it's certainly of a business related question, you should forward that question to President Peak, and he can go ahead and get that set up for you. So for those who joined in, guys, I thank you. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're safe. You're enjoying, as we approach the summer, you're enjoying some nice weather. I know we just celebrated the Memorial Day holiday. So for anybody who's in the military and has served or has loved ones who have served, again, thank you for your service. It's definitely much appreciated. And I see him online, but I also want to just basically say a special thanks to Jay Kelleher. He's been instrumental so far in being the liaison to the CIAC, as well as the other football boards. I also want to thank Billy Greeter, too, for his services with the CIAC. It's very interesting how they're trying to hijack the entire state and suck us dry for money that they really don't deserve. So anyway, so if you have any questions, again, regarding Arbiter or anything that we discussed, like I said, I will be sending out the emails tonight. You can get the forms off of Arbiter. All you got to do is click on Forms, search for the 2020 documents. There should be only 3 there. Acknowledgement form gives you the instructions on how to update your profile. The availability letter just talks about everything I sort of highlighted today, and the 2020 rule changes are up there. So question, I'm just going to answer one question. So Ronnie, if you're in Arbiter, if you click on your availability where the calendar is, there should be some sub-tabs. I believe one says Teams and then the other says Partners. You should be able to find that information right there. So guys, again, stay safe. If you need me, please shoot me an email. I have a meeting to attend work-wise, so I'm not going to be available tonight, but I can definitely take up, get back to you via email. Love you too, JB. Take care in the Alabama sunshine. All right, guys, stay safe. I'll talk to you soon.